Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is still your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. Originally sold in the year 2000 and made in only 9 copies. This is serial number 1 of the 9 of the Roger Dubuis Sympathie minute repeating perpetual calendar. That's right, in white gold with a Sympathie 1 case, a 9-piece limited edition, serial number uno. This is the watch I most would love to own of everything we currently have in our stock. Very collectible from an important and influential early independent, a pioneer in the space, and this being the most recognizable model line from that company and arguably the ultimate example of that iconic model line. It is the best of the best. So being a Sympathie 37, it is 37 millimeters in diameter in white gold, 12.6 millimeters thick, 48.8 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip with a standard 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now the watch does wear a little bit larger than the 37 millimeter size would imply. Think of it as more of a 41 millimeter round watch, and you get a sense of how it fits. You can see it is quite broad across the wrist, though I am pulling the strap quite tight. From over the top, you can see this exaggerates the width of the watch. It's not that broad, and the strap being stiff and new, I'm pulling it tighter than it needs to be. Taking a look down the barrel, you can see there's a lot more clearance on each side, so I believe you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. Just keep in mind it wears like a 41 round watch. That said, with a sloped flank and a sub 13 millimeter thickness, it will slide underneath the cuff, no problem. My wrist again, 16 centimeters. The strap, a brand new Roger Dubuis factory piece, black, large rectangular scale and medium rectangular scale, alligator leather on the top, semi-gloss, plenty of bolstering to give it volume, a sheer cut side. It is a bonded strap, so held together by bonding rather than stitching. Brand new, no crimping, no gouging. Attached to a Roger Dubuis logo style, single fold matching white gold deploy and clasp, and you can see this is gray gold. This is good stuff. The buckle with the Roger Dubuis logo rolling around to the case, the lugs welded on by hand and then hand finished to remove the gathered material from the weld. A very slow, artisanally demanding, low volume and traditional case fabrication method. I'm thrilled to see it here. Now the bezel with its double steps, the repeater slide, and then the external screws which fix the strap bars, plus the hoods of the lugs, those are all polished, that along with the Roger Dubuis branded crown. Now the flanks of the lugs, the space between the lugs and the case flanks, those are vertically satinated. Taking a quick look, you see the screws fixing bars that retain the strap to the case. I love that. On a heavy and expensive watch, this gives you more security than spring bars. So Roger Dubuis, you're batting 1,000 so far. You could see that there is a Sympathie 1 design, which means you have the wonderful fluid arcing angular form outboard, but then the inner bezel, the crystal, and the dial have the same form. Later on, to essentially make them more cheaply, Dubuis would change the design to include a circular inner bezel, dial, and crystal. This shape is the most sought and again the most iconic. If you're looking for the Dubuis that everyone knows and thinks of when they think of Dubuis, this is it, Sympathie. The dial, silver, metallic, with a dot-style minutes track, a fluid-flowing railroad-style minutes track outboard of the dots. We have Breguet style, or maybe Art Nouveau style, Arabic numerals, though they are not quarter Arabics, being 6, 10, 12, and 2. We have a little concentric pattern inside a sub-register for the date. We have a leap year indicator. Red means we're in the leap year. We have a moon phase that need not be corrected for 122 years. Once set, and then we have a perpetual calendar system that gives us aperture style day and month with half frosted alpha style hands, indices, numerals, and hands all in white gold to avoid tarnish or oxidation over time. People always ask, what does that GQHM mean? Oddly, it's an English acronym, Geneva Quality Handmade. So Swiss made and then Geneva Quality Handmade. So we've got this perpetual calendar system, so no need to touch it if it keeps running until the year 2100. Leap years, irregular length months, it can easily deal with that. And then we have the half frosting on the hands, so they contrast better against that sunburst silver metallic dial base. Turning it all over, here we have Roger Dubuis caliber 2639, which is actually a highly modified and finished Lamagna 389 minute repeating caliber. Now the watch has an accessory case back that is solid gold, so you get both. That was a hallmark of really high-end brands back in the 90s. You would get the display case back, but then for the sake of integrity, so you would know you weren't being shorted the precious metal, they would also give you the solid case back, and that is the case here. The serial number 01 of 9, and it is 01 of 9, is on the inside of that case back. That is the movement number there. This watch is number 1. Taking a look, 5-position adjustment. We have a 2.5 hertz beat rate, so 18,000 vibrations per hour. We have a overcoil hairspring, so in any position it will keep very consistent time due to the centered mass and concentric breathing of the overcoil. The single barrel holds your 40-hour power reserve. And you can see that wonderful integrated click and click spring, that pocket watch style retaining bar. You'll also find that in the modern era on a lot of high-end movements designed by Fabrique du Temps, such as those of Laurent Ferrier and the high-end Louis Vuitton watches. Now, taking a look across the bridges, first you can see the Roger Dubuis logo is ghosted across this crystal. We have these wonderful light luminous stripes across the bridges. The bevels are deeply impressive, and you can see the same treatment has been lavished on the inside of the jewel and screw sinks. The screw heads are all black polished with chamfered slots in circumference. The swan's neck fine adjustment mechanism is black polished, as is the stud holder. So is the steel cap for the escape wheel. And then we have satination on the wheels, solarization on the barrel. There's engine turning on the base plate, which you can see here. Geneva Hallmark finish, and the Geneva Hallmark qualification card comes with the watch. And then the strikers in steel. They have polish on their top, mirror polish. They have beveling on their sides, and you can see where the bevels come to sharp points. Incredible feat of fine finish. Now let's set this up and hear it. The white gold, and based on basically late 80s minute repeater technology, nevertheless, this is a really good sounding repeater. Comparable to Patek repeaters of the 1990s, and maybe even a little bit better. I'm doing my best to set it to 1259. I wish Roger Dubuis would still make watches like this, and I regret that they don't. Again, there's a strike barrel that you charge by pulling the slide, and then there's a mainspring barrel that gives you 40 hours of manual wind power reserve. In its day, it was impressively touted as 30 meters water resistant. Impressive, because most minute repeaters are 0. I wouldn't test that theory today, though, as this watch represents the emerging new vintage category. It is full box and papers. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.